Welcome back to The Law Show. I'm attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from high atop The Law Show studios in the Windy City, Chicago. It's great weather today. Hope you get out to enjoy some of it. I know I'm certainly going to do that. We're answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855-LAW-SHOW. And before we went to the break, we were talking to Susan about an accident that she was involved in. And she wanted to know, how is it you know how much to demand that the insurance company should pay her? And we asked her to hold on. We wanted to get a little bit of information. So, Susan, are you still with us?
I sure am.
All right. So let me just review a little bit. You were in a car accident, and the other driver accepted full responsibility, correct?
Correct.
And you were injured because the side airbag impacted your shoulder and aggravated a pre-existing arthritic condition that had, up to that point, not bothered you.
Correct.
And now it's bothering you.
Oh, yeah.
It's still bothering you.
It is, yeah. But
Okay.
This is, from what the doctor says, this is the way it will always be.
Okay. So have you lost any time from work as a result of this?
No, right now I'm unemployed, so I have not.
All right. And your health insurance company spent $7,000 to $8,000 in medical costs to help you recover. Are you going to have to incur additional medical costs?
Not that I foresee, no.
Okay. Is there any surgery in the future, do you know?
No, there's not.
All right. Valuing a case is one of the most difficult things that lawyers face. And the reason why is because there's so many factors that go into them. So the first factor is one that we don't have to be concerned about because the other side accepted complete responsibility for the accident and for causing the accident and your injury, all right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is you got to figure out how much you got in medical, because little do people know that when you have your medical insurance company pay for your medical bills related to an accident or an injury, they have a right to come back and demand that you pay them back out of the proceeds of any settlement you get. So right off the bat, we got to get at least enough to cover that, but you don't want to give the entire thing up, right? So now you got to get more than that. So you take a look at what is the nature of the injury, what is the nature of the disability, if any, if it's had any impact on your employment and whether or not you're going to be able to be employed. Is it a shoulder that is your dominant shoulder or your non-dominant shoulder?
I'd say non-dominant.
Okay. And the treatment that you got, is it mainly chiropractic or is it orthopedic? What is it?
Mostly chiropractic, a little bit orthopedic.
Okay. And that's the only injury you're sure that you're aware of. Did you lose consciousness in the accident at all?
Did not, no.
Okay. If that's the only injury that you got, then a lot of times what some people will say is you take the amount of the medical bills and you demand a factor of those medical bills maybe 3 times or 4 times or 5 times or 6 times. But it depends on who your insurance company is that you're dealing with. Some insurance companies play very big hardball. Other insurance companies don't. They pay more money. No question about it. A person who's representing themselves in a circumstance like this is going to get less money than if they have a lawyer, right? So the insurance company is going to look at you and they're going to say, well, $7,000 to $8,000 in medical, that's a pretty significant injury. They're going to say, no lawyer, so we can take advantage of this person. And she wasn't working, so no time lost from work. And you're probably going to get an offer of somewhere in the neighborhood of, I would say, you could probably get about $7,500 to $12,500 on your own. I don't think the insurance company is going to go higher than that. How much insurance does the other driver have?
I don't think I know that.
So you got to know that, because if their policy is a $20,000 policy, then you're going to have a greater likelihood of getting that at full policy limits than if it's a $500,000 policy, because your injury is not the kind of injury, based upon the information you've given me so far, that would generate a settlement or a verdict in the 6 figures. Now, maybe it would. I don't think so. So the insurance company is going to know if they've got a 20 policy or if they've got a 50 policy, that they probably going to have to talk more reasonably with you than if they've got $1 million in their policy. Let me ask you this. Do you have something called underinsured motorist coverage on your policy?
I believe I do, yes.
Do you know how that works?
Not really, no.
Okay. Here's how underinsured motorist coverage works. When you are hit by a vehicle that has, let's say this vehicle has $20,000 insurance, right? Let's assume that that's not enough to compensate you. And if I'm handling your case with $7,000 to $8,000 in medical and it's a $20,000 policy, if that's what they've got, I'm going to demand the entire thing and not be willing to take less, to the point where I'm willing to even go to court, right? Because I think that your injury is worth that all day long, based upon what you've told me so far. If you take less than $20,000, they're going to ask you to sign a release of liability against the other driver so that they can never be sued again. If you do that, then you eliminate your ability to go after what's called underinsured motorist coverage. And underinsured motorist coverage is something that you purchased to cover the cost necessary and the expense and the damages that were not compensated to you by the other driver's insurance. So if you've got an injury that's worth $100,000 and the other driver only has $50,000, you take the $50,000 from their insurance carrier, and then you make a claim against your own insurance carrier. But you can't do that unless you do two things. You have to, number one, get permission from your insurance carrier to obtain the full policy limit of the underinsured motorist, and you have to get their permission to sign a release eliminating your insurance company's ability to go back against that driver and collect. So it's not just a matter of how much do I demand from the insurance company. There's a lot of information that you need to learn here before you go off on your own and make a demand here. But let me ask you this. How much were you thinking about asking for?
Well, I'd heard like 3 to 4 times the amount of your medical bills, your expenses.
Right. And do you think you'll get that? Have you been talking to the other insurance company?
I just spoke with him last week and just said that I am looking into starting to settle.
Okay.
The whole process.
All right. Well, I hope I've been some help to you. If you'd like more help, you can call me, and you can call me at 855-LAW-SHOW. That number usually rings into my cell phone. And you can send me an email if you like, and I'll help guide you through this. If you want to retain us, I'd be happy to represent you on that as well. There's also lots of lawyers all over Chicagoland that could help you with this as well. It's somewhat a small case, so you may have some trouble finding a lawyer to take it because lawyers don't like to work on small cases. We like to handle people's legal questions and create good relationships, and so we don't care about the size of the case. And the only reason that ever comes into our thinking is we don't want our clients spending more money on us for legal fees than they're going to recover as a result of the work that we're doing. And that doesn't apply to your kind of a case because we do these cases on a contingent fee basis, which means no money out of your pocket, and you only pay us if we get something for you to pay us out of. So I'd be really, really, really careful about proceeding on your own. But if you want to do that and you want some more advice, just give me a call. Would you do that?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for calling the Law Show. We're going to continue answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. And now we're going to talk to JJ. JJ, you're on the Law Show. Hello? Looks like we lost JJ. We're going to talk to Francis now. Hello, JJ? Francis, you're on the Law Show.
Hello, this is Francis.
Yes, Francis, how are you?
I'm okay.
You're on the Law Show.
I have a question where I don't even know where I can find out. 15 years ago, I'm in my 70s, and so is my husband. 15 years ago, he decided to move out of our house and get a place of his own, okay? Not for mischief. He just wanted to live alone. And so eventually I lived with my daughter, and then I got a place of my own. Now, we're not divorced, nothing legal. We're friends, okay? He has his place about 40 miles away from here, and I have mine. What I want to know is, I've really saved my money and scrimped and everything. If he should land in a nursing home, am I liable? And vice versa.
Well, you're only responsible for bills that you agree to be responsible for. And if you haven't agreed to be responsible for any medical bills or nursing home bills, then you can't be responsible. On the other hand, if you folks have joint assets together, some of those assets could be in jeopardy if, let's say, for example, he goes into a nursing home and Medicaid looks back to find out what he's got, some of those assets could be in jeopardy. So do you have any jointly held assets at this point?
Yes, we do. I mean, I do. I don't. He doesn't have me on his property, but I have him on mine because I'm good-hearted Sally.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm just thinking about changing that.
you're gonna you actually put his name on your real estate.
Yeah, fool
Wow.
that I am. I'm tender-hearted,
Yeah, you are.
but not, I know, and stupid.
Not stupid. No, don't say that. Nobody's stupid.
Okay.
Legal questions
no, I always feel sorry for people, but the point of it is now I'm worried because I have to take care of myself.
I would
And
be
do
worried
take care
if
of
I were you.
myself.
I would be concerned
So
about
I
that.
want to have money to do it,
Right. Listen, your question's way complicated. I don't know exactly what
I
you've
know.
got, but you need to get this thing taken care of. If you want to
Yeah,
call
that's
us, Brian Russell can help you through all this. If you want to call somebody else, call somebody else. There's lots of great lawyers in Chicagoland, and we'd like
Okay.
you to get to a lawyer right away, okay? Don't wait any longer. Your assets are in jeopardy potentially. You need to get an estate plan. And everybody else listening out there, if you don't have an estate plan, get an estate plan. I'm Brian Dailey. I'm broadcasting live from High Atop the Law Show studios. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll be answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. Don't forget about the Law Show Extra. We go on in the Law Show after we go off the air on WLS. If you're on the line, we haven't gotten to your question, hold on or keep calling. 855-LAW-SHOW. We'll be right back.